Welcome, everybody, to Wall Street Reporter's next Super Stock live stream, where we bring you those stocks which have that 10x to 100x upside potential. Companies going after massive multi-billion-dollar market opportunities that are at a key inflection point right now with multiple catalysts. And we're back with Worksport, next Super Stock Worksport. Steve Rossi, welcome back to the program, Steve.
Thanks for having me, Jack. Really happy to be here.
Excellent. So, Steve, actually, look, Worksport is at a very exciting time right now. The company, we always say we're looking for stocks. Again, we're very specific. Companies that we put on our next Super Stock program, they have to meet like a checklist of like 10 qualities that we look for, right? We talk about it in the book, 10-bagger blueprint, the 10-bagger qualities. And, Worksport does that. But the key thing is this. We look for timing is everything, right? So we want stocks that are at that inflection point. And we always say inflection point. But how do you know when a stock is at the inflection point? Well, the numbers. And what people are seeing now is the news flow. First of all, the news flow is the pulse. And anybody that pulls up the news flow on Worksport can see the cadence and quality and quantity of that news flow, like something big is about to happen, right? And I think the latest press release, I think, is very eye-opening, and I want to focus on that. That's what I want to get into today, which I think that there's three things that are happening right now. The company, which you mentioned, but I want you to, we're going to go into a deep dive with this, which is three things. You got the month over month, so it's month over month sales are increasing. You said geometrically, so it's month over month, and they keep going and going and going, and then at the same time, your dealer network is scaling. So not only are the sales increasing, your dealer network is growing, and on top of that, you're launching these major new products that you have set. So this becomes a flywheel. This is like the perfect setup. That is basically, that's when you have that combination, that formula, that's the formula for explosive growth. And Steve, you said something, I think in the first live stream that, your goal is to get to 100 million in annualized revenue in the next, 6 to 12 months. And people are saying, well, how does the guy go from 20 million now to 100 million? Well, this is how. It's when this flywheel starts working, that's how it happens. Anyway, Steve, and let me ask you this: how are you driving this explosive growth? Like, what is going on? Take us into the details of what's happening here.
Well, look, we're making it happen right now. We're not about to hit inflection. We are inflecting, and that's not going to stop. We're hungry. We're relentless. We have the brightest and the best in the world that are building this business one brick at a time. And one of the sayings that I say very often is from it's a proverb that's from the humble acorn grew the mighty oak. So just remember that from the smallest of seeds can grow the biggest of things that'll weather all the storms, that has the strongest foundations. But what's critical is that foundation. 2023, we were, I think, $8 million. 2024, we were $8 million. This year we're gonna multiply that, and that multiplier isn't going to stop. So we're in a massive market. Okay, so we started, as Sony started with a rice cooker. Our Acorn product is a tonneau cover for pickup trucks. But it's a niche market, yes. But when times are good, people are buying by the numbers. People are buying pickup trucks. When times are bad, people are buying pickup trucks. It's the best place for us to have our Acorn products be as a foundation. So to that, we build the best pickup truck tonneau covers in the world. Anybody, anywhere can literally buy our product or take our product, put it right next to any competing product, whether it's $3,000 or $300, and see, touch, and feel and experience the difference, the magic that goes into the Worksport product that makes it amazing. And it just makes sense. It makes sense that consumers are flocking to our factory. We can't keep our products on the shelves. We're 2 shifts working on 3 shifts in production at this point. We're just exploding. We're at that inflection point today. Why? Because we're better. Why? Because we're new. Why? Because we're innovative. And why? Because this is just the beginning. There's no one else in the world that's integrating standard products or hybridizing standard truck accessory products with solar technology, with battery systems that'll be able to integrate into your house, that'll be able to integrate into the job site, into the campsite, for first responders, for military, for Department of Defense, for good times, for bad times. There's nobody else doing this. And another proverb that's out there is you don't have to be the best, you have to be the first. And we're the first at making the best products in our space, hybridizing them with solar, hybridizing them with battery storage. And I believe that the future, the dominance in the future will rely on energy production, and energy storage, which is really what we're focused on. So we went from $8 million. We're going to be $20+ million this year. That's our goals. We're working hard towards it. And next year, we're going to keep multiplying that. So to be $100 million is a starting point. It's not a home run. It doesn't get me out of bed to build a $100 million business. What gets me out of bed is that if we continue multiplying, we go from 20 to 100, and from 100, the next multiplier is $1 billion. And that starts to excite me. Once you start getting into 10 figures, 9 figures, doesn't excite me. And that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to achieve $1 billion business, and we're going to get there, and we're going to get there one step at a time.
Steve, one of the most important things that we look for is beyond all the fundamentals. The X factor for the stocks, to be that 10x, 100x, is that I always say if you want a 100x stock, you got to have the 100x CEO. So you got to have that the vision, the desire, the burning desire to be $1 billion company. Very few, and by the way, very few CEOs will say that. But I think the goal of every public company CEO should be to be 100x, to be a 100x stock, to take it to maximum potential, do whatever you can to go all the way, because you never know. I think a lot of companies, they stop short of their full potential. And again, one of the things which I find very interesting, and we're going to talk about the business. We haven't even talked about, we haven't even talked about what the Worksport does. I've been showing it on the screen, but you start off with some very humble products, right? You start with a humble product, a pickup truck with a bed cover, right? Now you're going to solar energy, all these incredible things. We haven't even talked about the heat pump business, which could be, again, these are all multi-billion-dollar market opportunities. Even truck covers, by the way, it's a $4 billion market, right, in the U.S.
Three to 5 billion in the U.S. And pickup trucks are growing exponentially globally. I mean, they're the #1 vehicle on the roads in Australia. They're growing in popularity in South America, Central America. They're growing, in Latin America in general. They're growing in popularity in Asia, the continent, in Africa. Everywhere in the world, pickup trucks are making sense because they're the most well-endowed. They haul anything, they go anywhere, they do everything. And, you got to wonder, why is Kia coming out with a truck? Why is Volkswagen broadening their pickup truck?
Kia is doing a truck? Kia is coming out with a pickup truck? That's crazy.
Google it. Yeah, so billions and billions of dollars go into developing a vehicle, and they're not developing, these OEMs, these car manufacturers in China and domestic everywhere. All the car manufacturers are spending billions of dollars launching pickup truck products, and the big three, Ford, Dodge, and GM, or Stellantis now. Why do all of the #1 new features come out on the pickup truck first? Because that's their #1 product line. Back in the day, the Cadillac was the Cadillac. That doesn't exist anymore. Now, the GMC Sierra is the first to come with the autopilot feature that GM offers. The first electric vehicle that Ford offers is an F-150, not a small midsize or anything like that. So for all intents and purposes, the pickup truck market is a global market. It's positioning Worksport. Yeah, we have international interest. We have interest in Australia. We have interest in customers in Latin America. We're obviously going to start working at bringing the product into Europe. Pickup trucks all over the road, and for example, in Spain or even in the continent of Africa.
Steve, one thing I want to ask you, your products are all made in the USA, which is like a big selling point. So it's all made in the USA. Your market right now, where are you selling? Are you selling primarily in the US, or are you doing any international sales outside of the US?
Yes, we are doing international sales. More news on that to come.
Okay.
In terms of international sales. So I'll be tight-lipped about it.
But that's a market you haven't tapped into yet. You haven't really tapped into that market yet, right?
We haven't. No. We've tapped into it. We're so busy domestically that we can't supply the demand we have just in the 48 states. we're off our head. You know, you come into our factory, we have investors visiting the factory all the time. I always offer people, you know, from New York City, for example, it's a 45-minute flight in the air to come to where we are just outside of Buffalo, which is beautiful. The area is beautiful. And when people come in, I mean, last time I was live in the factory, you know, people couldn't hear me because of all the noise. I mean, we're making noise, we're making product 16 hours a day. You know, there's not enough hours in the day, and we don't have enough. We have 250,000 square feet, and we're running out of space. We're growing like crazy, and we haven't even started to scratch the surface. So the market is $3 to $5 billion domestically in the U.S. You know, add Canada and Latin America, you're probably getting close to adding another probably at least $1 billion to that market, and then start looking at international. Our little acorn product is a hell of an acorn to take 10 or 20% of a multi-billion-dollar market when you're the best, because we are the best. You know, that's a big piece of the pie. I think we can get a good chunk of my mandate to build $1 billion in revenues business just from tonneau covers, because we do it so well.
You know, so one thing I've been saying, this is the thesis. The thesis for investors is this. This is why I think Worksport is very exciting. Because again, the big money with these stocks is made, you know, I always say, it's at the inflection point. That's because when a company starts to scale, when revenues grow exponentially, that's when the most value is created. The most value is created where stocks can go 1,000% or more is during that period when, you know, the revenues go exponentially, go from, you know, like in your case, if they go from 20 million to 100 million, if you can do that in the next 12 months, if you can hit that run rate, you can hit 8 million, 10 million a month sales. I believe the market is going to give this thing at least a 5x multiple of forward revenues, which means, you know, if you hit that, you know, 100 million run rate, 8 million a month, 100 million run rate, the stock could get a valuation of 500 million, right? So, and if somebody does the math, it comes out to, you know, somebody can do the math. What is it, 6 million shares out? How many shares out? You have 5 million? 6
million? 6 million, yeah.
6 million. So, you know, you divide 500 million by 6 million. It's north of $75 a share. It's like 80, whatever it is. Let's call it. Yeah, I'm not going to get too crazy, but and I'm not going to talk about the charts, even though all the charts on the stock look absolutely amazing right now. They're all breaking out. They're all flashing buy signals. I'm not, you know, but the point is the fundamentals. That's what I want to focus on, and I want to actually go into all the details because, you know, what I like about your story, you know, is, you know, you're very laser focused on like execution, one thing at a time. Like, yeah, again, like, you know, some people accuse me of hyping things. Oh my God, it's gonna be a multi-billion, whatever. But you're saying, okay, like right now, your whole conversation has been just about the pickup truck covers, but you have so many other great products which we're gonna get into. But the pickup truck cover alone, this business alone, and I want to start with that first, right? So it's $4 billion in the U.S., right? How many companies are in that space, and how do you rank? I mean, I know you say you're the best, but really, how would you rank compared to the guys in this space? Like, what's your competitive advantage? How do you get to, let's call it a $200 million piece of that business? Because
well, let me just isolate what so let's talk tonneau covers, okay? So first off, the tonneau cover is an exterior accessory that's a wear product. Wear product means it's not an interior product. It's going to see sun, rain, hail, sleet, snow. You're going to put stuff on it. You're going to stand on it. You're going to do all these things. So it has to be durable. It's a high wear item, okay? So let's look at one thing that, number one, when you have a high wear item, you're going to want it to be durable. Durable means something that won't scratch, won't dent, won't mar, won't fade, won't crack. If you go on our Instagram and our Facebook at Worksport Ltd, you'll see a video that we just posted yesterday. I encourage anybody that's watching this or watch this, look at the date, 1st of October. Go to that video if you're watching this, you know, a few days from now. Go to the video that we posted yesterday, so the last day of September, and you'll see our panel versus the leading panel. Our aluminum panel, American aluminum, where the aluminum is mined from American soil, is over 3 times thicker than our competitor. So our product will take all the abuse in the world. It's very dent resistant. It's scratch resistant. We have a ceramic type coating on it. You know, it's a super durable product. Yeah, there it is. There's the video there. Yeah. So if you watch this, our competitor uses a product that's paper thin. It's like the same type of aluminum, that is used almost in the can he's holding in his hand. We're using that can in that video on purpose. It's paper thin.
You know, I'm an ice cold, man.
Yeah, let's watch it. Let's watch it.
Worksport AL3 hardcover. This, like the AL4, uses our patented panel construction, and it's what I'll be using to show you guys a few things here into the studio today. Now, let's start with the obvious. Our aluminum panels are thick, over 3 times thicker than what you'll find on most leading covers. And people ask, how thick is ours? Well, it's 0.050 inches. And theirs? Well, it's 0.020.015. If you didn't get that, don't worry. It's just science. Basically, wear a shield, and, well, they're a soda can. You could dent this with the first chance of hail or even a firm hit.
Watch. Toast. Garbage. Useless. Your $1,500 tonneau cover's toast.
And ours? Not a chance.
Oh, look at that.
You see, unlike the Worksport panel, once this one's been punctured, you'll see its filler foam. Water will infiltrate through the cover, rendering it completely useless. If you have any questions, drop them below in the comments. You want to learn more? Subscribe or head over to worksport.com. Guys, can I have that real drink now? I'm pretty thirsty. Make sure it's cold.
So you know, Steve, what's really interesting is, so basically your value proposition is quality. You're kind of like the Yeti, you know, like that company Yeti, but your prices are reasonable. Like they're ultra high price, you know, very high quality, but you're kind of like a Yeti for truck covers, reasonably priced.
We're reasonably priced. We're built better. We're gonna stand behind our product. We're 93% American sourced raw materials, like down to the resin for our paints come from American soil. So we're an economic flywheel. Our dollars stay in the country, right? What we buy for material and supply chain, who we employ, all of our dollars stay in the country. It's an economic flywheel is what Worksport is. Our competitors aren't. But more importantly, so ours is a shield, theirs is a pop can. That's number one. Number two is our product. If we need to get into the nitty gritty for tonneau covers, our product, you just bolt it on your truck. Anybody can do it. You can do it. Your grandmother can do it. Anybody can do it. Okay, it's very easy. Our competitors, you bought a $100,000 GMC Sierra Denali EV, right? And the first thing you got to do to install our competitors' products, you got to drill 2 3/4 inch holes in the metal of your truck bed.
Oh, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, so it's out of warranty. So as soon as you buy the tonneau cover, you got to drill these huge holes to drain water out of the cover into the bed and all.
So today we're going to show you something that makes.
No, you can see some other videos there that shows ours. We make a better product, and that's what's driving people in droves. We're a better company. We have culture, we have spirit, we have quality in mind, and we're just better. And when you do things better, if you build that, people come. So at this point, we just can't keep our products on the shelf. And that flywheel effect is going to continue. And that's just the surface. We're just starting with tonneau covers, and we're going to continue. We're going to dominate there. And as we dominate in tonneau covers, we start looking at integrating. That's coming out in weeks from now. We're going to be launching our solar integrated products, world's only solar folding, bed array, truck bed array. Then we have battery generators.
Steve, explain what this does. Maybe we'll pull it up. Is it on your Instagram, the solar, or is it on the website?
If you go on Insta and you see me, there's a video that was me standing in Missouri. I was powering a barrel fan with our solar tonneau cover. Sorry?
Where can I?
I'm it's on Instagram. It's the middle video on the top row. I just saw it on Instagram.
Okay, hang on. Oh.
It's me, and I look like I was boiling because it was 130 degrees.
Okay, hang on. Wait. It just froze. Hang on. Okay, here you are. You're in the top middle. Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, if you watch that video, you'll see the power of our solar cover. Nothing else can do this.
Hang on a second. Are we rolling? Okay, hang on. Here we go. Okay. Hang on. Wait. Hang on. The internet froze. Okay, here we go. Okay. Let's roll.
Here, CEO and founder of Worksport. I'm here in Springfield, Missouri at our R&D facility with a Solus and core system in the wild. This is amazing. I'm so excited to show you. First, let me show you the Solus tonneau cover, the first of its kind, the only folding solar array for pickup trucks. Fits snugly on the bed of the truck. You can see 3 flexible, highly durable solar panels that are just soaking up the sun today. We're super excited to show you. Operating the cover is fantastic, nice and easy. pull a latch, fold it over. You can see our wire management system that we've invented. Fold it over itself one more time. Voila, you can buckle it in, drive with it, fold it over. It's very, very easy to remove and install, uninstall and install, so you could use it as a portable battery system. Let me show you our proprietary mounting system where all of our batteries can be mounted, in the core system that I'll show you in a second can be mounted to as well. So we've got these mounting brackets that hold all of the battery and the gear that you need for a mobile power grid. In the bed of this truck, you can store 6 or more kilowatts of power. So that's almost enough to run a household for an entire day. It runs all of the appliances. Here's our core. I'll show you in a second. Folding open, folding close the solar cover. Nice and easy again. One fold, one more, and it's closed. Now it's locked. Here we have the core. Right now, the core was producing over 200 watts of energy. It was just folded over, so you have to give it a minute. It's ramping up 121, 197, 229. I mean, this is really putting down a good amount of power. And I'll show you where we could exemplify net positive. This system is generating more solar power than it's going to use energy to power a barrel fan that'll keep your entire job site or anything cool for the day. So let me plug that in and show you how well it handles power.
Massive barrel fan.
A bunch of these and have them run all day long. And that solar tonneau cover is going to actually generate more power than we're using from this high power barrel fan.
Wow.
Plug it in, press your AC on. I'll go flip it on right now. Look at this thing. We got a fan
Here.
blasting nice air at us right now. Picture job site, campsite. And we're putting out 260 watts. We're putting out 260 watts, but the solar array is putting in 300 watts. This unit is generating more power than it's consuming to run a massive barrel fan. This is amazing.
Was charging.
Now I'll shut off this barrel fan and I'll show you the last really cool thing about the core system. So you press AC off, fan shuts off, unplug it. Again, you have 4 outlets here. You can plug everything you want in. The last thing that's very interesting is we have the first of its kind modular battery system.
Oh.
Every other system out there, when it's dead, it's dead. It's a big paperweight. Our system is when one battery is depleted, you can plug it into the solar array or any wall outlet, replace it with a charged battery, turn it on, and you got power on the go again. This is the Worksport. What's up, guys? Steve Rossi here, CEO and founder of Worksport.
So what I'm showing here, what's critical is we were charging our battery. Our solar cover was charging the battery while we were powering an industrial sized barrel fan. I mean, like not like a little tiny, like oscillating, fan, like an industrial 4 foot, 5,000 RPM, blow your wig off barrel fan. Right. And it was the solar cover was generating enough energy to power all that and still charge the battery. And our core that you saw there, which we're releasing this year, is like right around the corner. Our core is the only one in the world, the only product in the world, because we have the patents on this, that has the right amount of power, as in you could plug in anything you want into that. Anything you plug into your house, you plug into the core, like your wall outlet, like saws, table saws, party, job site, campsite, everything. But it has unlimited energy because we have the modular battery blocks. Nobody else offers unlimited energy. We offer unlimited swappable energy. You can have as much energy as you want, buy more batteries, rent more batteries, accumulate more batteries, and you have unlimited energy. So like in the bed of that truck, I had in the bed of that truck at that shoot, that was a real cover in the wild. It wasn't a show truck. You could see there was sawdust in it. That was a guy that was really using one. Because we have them out there in real life. We've been selling them, the beta testers. So that guy's a contractor. And he had 6 kilowatts of energy. To put it into perspective, the average house in America uses between 10 and 20 kilowatts. So he had almost as much power in the bed of his truck that a small home uses on a daily basis in America. That's how much power that is. I mean, we're talking about power for job site, campsite.
How much is this thing again? The whole package, the solar, the cover, the solar cover, and the
we haven't formed, like we've kind of announced rough pricing. There's going to be some changes there, but you'll have to stay tuned. So anybody that's watching or will be watching this, buy the stock of Worksport, invest in us, and stay tuned for formal release pricing, which is going to happen very soon. But it'll be affordable. You've got to think the average pickup truck, $70,000. it's going to be, when compared to that, a very affordable solution.
Okay, so we're thinking it's going to be, let's say a couple of grand, ballpark. I mean, ballpark, couple
Yeah,
of grand.
ballpark. We're making it affordable. We're going to offer financing solutions,
Okay.
and we're
okay.
we're also going to be looking at creative financial engineering, so that maybe it's like a product as a service. We're not sure yet, but we're going to be very creative here, so that we're able to appeal to everybody. Another one of my proverbs from my best friend's father, he always said to me growing up, he says, "Appeal to the mass, dine in class." So for Worksport, we're strictly focused on being able to be affordable for everybody. So not a lot of people can afford maybe $2,000 or $3,000. So we're going to look at very keen, creative financial engineering opportunities to be able to be accessible by everybody.
Steve, what's interesting? Okay, so we're like, so far, you've been focused on the U.S. market, right? But when you go, again, you talk about pickup trucks going outside of the world. You're talking about in the developing world. You mentioned Africa. You mentioned, let's say, India, Latin America. Guess what? They need energy out in the field. Forget, a lot of times they have blackouts, et cetera, et cetera. This is, and again, a pickup truck actually, like in the Middle East and Africa, it's a status symbol. It's like a big thing, right? Like it's like in Pakistan. You remember the Taliban? They all had pickup trucks, right? Not
Yeah.
but it's a big thing.
UAE, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, like they're all big pickup trucks.
Okay, and what do you need? You need to have power, right? Let's say you're in the Middle East, right? Let's say you go falcon hunting in Dubai, right? You want to go out with your tent, right? Where's your power coming from? You got solar, you got plenty of sun, you got your thing, you got solar, and boom, you got enough electricity to run all your fans and everything else in the tent. I mean, there's actually
I'm gonna augment the messaging here a little bit. Well, I'm not going to take it like, so you're talking pickup trucks. So we already assessed that pickup trucks are huge in North America, and that's growing everywhere. Okay, so we know the market's big, but the core, the core unit that you just showed on your on the Instagram post, you don't need to even have a driver's license to buy our core. That's for mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, your kids, sending them off to college. That you don't need a pickup truck at all. Our core is for anybody, anywhere in the world, whether you have a driver's license, whether you're disabled, whether you're it doesn't. It's mobile energy for everybody, anywhere in the world. DoD, military, first responders, contractors, ambulance, like I said, first responders, anybody, anywhere could use our core to have remote power. Our core could be charged by any solar panels. They're just supercharged with our solar panels. And they can be charged by any wall outlet. So if it's a farmer near Guadalajara, Mexico, or a taxi driver in Poland, Worksport is targeting the coveted global consumer market. So a lot of companies out there, they focus on niche products or semi-niche products, like healthcare products, like cure for cancer. That's the cure for cancer is massive, but only a small percentage of people get cancer, right? So we're talking about who doesn't need backup power, right? When you're walking down, Jack, you're in. I think you're in the city of New York, right? You're walking down Manhattan and you see all those food vendors. What's the first thing that happens on those carts? They have those stinky Honda generators. At the end of the day, everyone's
it is so annoying. First of all, they're loud. It's loud enough in the city as it is.
You're hungry. By the time you stand there, you're not even hungry anymore. Because you just sucked in all carbon dioxide for 10 minutes. What I'm getting at is this is our battery generator with unlimited energy.
Also, we forgot to mention there's also all these food trucks. That's the new thing. The food trucks out there, which is like everybody has in LA, people do the whole food truck scene. Yeah, they need to. There's a lot of use. This portable. By the way, so the portable power, you have a price on that? The core, the box. How much?
Yeah.
You have,
I can't. I have to keep tight-lipped. I can't. We haven't formally announced pricing, but it's going to be affordable for everybody. I can guarantee it.
And okay, so that thing, so the core box, you can charge it from a wall outlet. You can charge it from anything, right?
Any wall outlet, any 12-volt source like a car, or any solar panels. So you could, if you have solar panels, if you have folding arrays, or there's all these ones you can buy on Amazon or whatever, that'll charge from anything.
And how long will it keep the charge? How long, once you charge it, how long will it keep the electricity in there?
without being used forever
Yeah.
for years. But if
Really?
you're it's not forever, but it's 4, 5, 6 years. It can hold the charge within the batteries if you're not using it. So if it's just in a cupboard for like a stormy day or like for a power outage, it'll
Yeah.
always hold its
Okay,
charge.
so listen, that's a big thing for people. Let's say in Miami, okay, where you have hurricane season. I mean, like you have blackouts. I don't know. In the U.S., even in California, they have no electricity, so you got blackouts happening everywhere all the time. I mean, in Florida, obviously, you got the hurricanes, and people spend a lot of money on these generators, which are very expensive. The diesel for the house, whatever. But instead of buying a generator, you can just have one of these because usually a blackout is going to last a day or whatever it is. You just want to have enough stuff for a
Hours,
container.
yeah.
So
You need to plug in your fridge. We had a blackout at my house, and I had a core, one of our prototype cores here. We had a blackout for a day, and it was the middle of winter. And for that day, I was able to power the fireplace, a TV, Wi-Fi, and the Christmas lights. So like people were walking up and down the street, like looking at our house, like what do they do differently? And it's like we didn't have any noisy natural gas generator running. We were warm, comfy, entertained. We were watching Netflix. We had all the power we needed. We plugged in our fridge. It was amazing. And then the power came back on and the core served its purpose. It was fantastic. So the core product is addressing another rapidly growing, multi-billion-dollar business globally. And that'll shift Worksport from being a niche product, it's Acorn product, tonneau covers for trucks, to new energy systems for the global consumer market. And that's where we're going. We're not going to abandon, we're going to continue to develop our automotive business unit. But as we grow, obviously the bigger piece of our business is going to be the global consumer products. Of course, we're going to start in North America first, specifically the United States. But once we've grown we've seen growth in the United States, we'll expand into Latin America, Canada, and then globally. And that product is expected to put a significant effect in the positive on our balance sheet in terms of top line revenues and margins of profit.
What can that do? Let's say once you're scaling, let's call it 12 months out because it's going to take you time to ramp up. Let's say, how long would it take you to get to, let's call it, what kind of numbers can you do?
So I'll put it this way. I'm not going to speculate, but I'll tell you what our competitors did. Our competitor, a Chinese-owned company with Chinese-made products, so we have home turf advantage and a better product. They're foreign-owned, foreign-operated, foreign-manufactured. So I'm not saying inferior, but it's definitely, when you have home turf advantage like we do as an American company, we have the upper hand here.
Especially the whole tariff situation.
Yeah.
By the way, let's very important psychological for the demographic, right? Marketing wise, the pickup market, truck market, it's a very it's a patriotic market in the US. People love made in America stuff. That whole audience for Ford F-150s, why do they buy Ford and not Toyota trucks? They like that made in America thing. What it is, right? So I think they would love that idea that everything is made in America. You should have Trump come out to the factory. One of these guys.
Maybe one day. The competing brand that we have in the marketplace right now, their sales were about $1 billion, of their battery generator systems, I think last year. Based on data that we're able to find. They tried to go public, so they had to disclose some of their financials. And they're Chinese, so it's a little difficult to find everything, but they're about $1 billion. So they're $1 billion in top line revenues selling an inferior version of just one of our products. We have solar, we have automotive divisions, and then obviously what the future holds for Worksport, which is a much broader campus of integrations to home HVAC with our heat pump technology and other cool things that we're planning on doing that we haven't announced yet, but we have a bigger picture in mind. So we're addressing tens of billions of dollars of market opportunity, and if we were to even take 10% of the markets in aggregate, we'd be significantly into 10 figures in top line revenues in the short future. And like I said, that we have tenacity and the experience now to be able to get there. It's not like we're just starting. I mean, we are just starting, but we've got an ISO, we built a factory, we've gotten to market. We have like hundreds, if not thousands, of 5-star reviews. We have YouTube's full of videos on our product, people raving about them. So in general, we know what we're doing, and we're learning and getting better every day.
10 figures. Is that what is it? I don't even know the math. Is that $1 billion?
Billion plus.
Okay. So basically, you could be $1 billion business with these few products to start with. We haven't even talked about the heat pumps, the other stuff. I think we'll say that for another video because I don't want to overload investors, and I think there's enough. Again, you always use that analogy with how Sony started with a rice cooker. And again, as many of the great Japanese conglomerates, these technology conglomerates, they all start with a humble product. I think Honda started with a sewing machine, or somebody with a bicycle.
Yeah.
Somebody started with a bicycle, a sewing machine, and I think they still make sewing machines and bicycles.
Yep.
And then they do cars, jets. Honda does a jet now, which is actually a very hot product. And a jet, like a plane. People like
the Honda jet. Yeah, no, I'm familiar with it. Yep.
From a sewing machine to a jet, right? And then you have I think Yamaha. Does Yamaha make pianos? I know they make pianos. Does the Yamaha piano company, they make bikes? I mean, so a lot of these guys.
Yamaha makes instruments. They make bicycles. They make suspension components. They make boats. They make jet skis. They make They make everything. Yamaha's and that's the thing is like Worksport starts with something, and we're growing that. We're how many public companies fail to meet? So a public company is a company, and a company is another word of calling a company is a business. And if you open up Webster's and you look at the basic definition of a business is an entity that exchanges a product or service for money. And so many public companies don't even meet that basic principle. They don't exchange anything for anything. They don't have it. They just burn money all day long. And Worksport focuses on, like, we're focused on selling. We're going to get cash flow positive this year. And from that, we're going to build a massive business with a huge market and a very clear path towards tic-tac-toe. Referring back to our press release earlier today, we started with 0 dealers at the beginning of this year. None. We had 0. Now we have 600 dealers, and of those dealers, almost half of them are regular buyers. Like, they're buying on a daily basis. That's a massive, like, most dealer bases, you like, if you're a wholesale business, you usually hear from your dealers once a month, once every 2 months, once every 3 months. We have repeat orders from our dealers from between, well, let's say a third to a half of our dealers on daily basis, sometimes more than
daily
once
basis.
a day. Sometimes
these guys are reordering from you. You're saying half of these guys are reordering on a daily basis?
Yeah, so 260. Well, actually, yeah. So 266 of our 600 dealers order from us frequently, as in like sometimes multiple times a day, and to have half of your dealer base as a repeat customer on a regular basis. Now we have 600 dealers. Half of them order every single day. If not more than once a day, like consistently, like it's growing like crazy. The dealer market in America for truck accessory stores is 17,000.
You only have 600. So right now you have 600 out of 17,000.
Yeah, there's 17,000. We have 600. And of the 600, we'd only expect 60 of them to place frequent orders. And half of them are reordering every single day. Once we get to 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, extrapolate where the revenues can go. And that's why we're so focused on just building a business, focus on quality. And I know that the market's going to react. And I know that we're going to be a huge company. But we got to get there one step at a time. But the market's massive. And with the dealer and look at our revenues from Q1 to Q2, from 2 million to 4 million. We doubled in a quarter. That's not easy to do, but we did it. Our margins of profit, they climbed from 11% last year to 31% this year, with tariffs and inflation and all these crazy things that are happening, geopolitical issues, economic slowdown that we're not really speaking about, but exists. We're still finding margin growth. We're still finding revenue growth, and our dealers are just they can't keep the product on the shelf. It's fantastic.
Steve, we've had a lot of 10 baggers. At the bottom of the screen, we have a crawl of some of our, greatest hits in recent years. Stocks went up 10x, 20x. But here's the deal. Worksport, this formula that you have, this is the classic formula. By the way, none of those stocks, the ones that went up 10x, 20x, none of those guys even had this type of, this is like the classic thing where you have, this is like the classic business school MBA case study where you have, this exponential, when a product really takes off, you have those reorders, you have that those granular metrics, dealer count exploding, the reorders are exploding. And then new. So this is like it's starting to take off. I think the opportunity for investors, is the stock is cheap because, frankly, the company's never had, the company went public on the over-the-counter market like years back, I think with the reverse merger, however it happened. And, they never had institutional sponsorship. Now you are NASDAQ. So notice, not only have you built an amazing business, which is just about to take off, but you've actually, I said this in the first live stream, like what Worksport has done is it's like overcome the challenges, which like, I think only 1 out of 1,000 companies on the OTC ever makes it to NASDAQ. 1 out of 1,000, like literally, and survives more than a year. You've actually made it. So now, and you have the business happening. So this is like people, and I think what the issue is for investors, nobody really knows about the stock yet. People are starting to find out, but the legacy shareholders, the existing shareholders, I think a lot of those shareholders, they're focused on like one thing or the other thing. They're not. I think somebody looking at it with fresh eyes will say, "Oh my God, this is an amazing thing." They're about to explode with this market with just the pickup truck covers, which they could do 100 million. They got this new product, this core power product, which could be $100 million product. So they could go to 0 to a couple $100 million in the next 12 months. It's already happening. It's not talk. It's not like CEO BS talk. Like a lot of times, every company's talks. This is happening. People can see it with their own eyes, right?
Yeah, we're not about. That's why I said we're inflecting. We're not an inflection point. We're inflecting.
Yeah. Thank you for articulating. Thank you for, because the big nuance. There's an inflection point, and this is inflecting. So and here is the proof. The proof is this, because there's a lot of again. This is the real deal. Anybody who goes to the Worksport site, which I've gone to the site, after you leave the site, for the next, I don't know, I'm still getting bombarded by your ads. Like they're omnipresent, which means it's a real company. I mean, they're selling stuff. That's how you're selling stuff. The marketing is great. We just showed the Instagram page on the Worksport. You got great videos. People, I mean, this is like real stuff. This is like this is real consumer. You're building a rabid fan base. There's a fan base building. I mean, this is, again, I think of it almost like as a Yeti type of thing. Like Yeti became very hot, but I think you can go much beyond Yeti, and it's much more value. I think Yeti is not a value product. It's more of like I don't know, status product or whatever. A mug for $50. I don't get the Yeti thing. Like, the coolers for $500. This is a real utilitarian product at a great value, and you're making money with it. But let's go through these numbers, because I think you should repeat this, because this is a big deal for people, for especially any analysts looking at this thing. So you have this. I think. Wait, didn't Wainwright just upgrade your stock? Wainwright's. They have 1150 target on it. Wainwright.
Hell, So our Wainwright's got $11.50 price target from what I know. So it's very, very strong price target compared to where we're trading.
And they have to be conservative. They have to be, those guys. They can't, because they have institutional investors. They can't say, hey, it's $75 target, because those guys, even though they might believe it, but they're going to say, hey, come, it's a little aggressive. I mean, I have no problem saying it, because I actually believe it. I see it happening, right? Like I see the path to get there, and you're following, like Worksport is following the same path, the blueprint, the 10-bagger blueprint that I've seen work for other stocks we've had that became 10-baggers. I think Worksport could be in our next edition of the book as a case study. So maybe a year from now, we can have the case study. This is exactly what happened. Boom. The revenues exploded. So let's go through the dealer count, because this is important. There's 17,000. What did you say? There's 17,000 truck accessory stores in the U.S. Or what do you call 17,000?
Yeah. Stores that sell tonneau covers, about 17,000. Now that number changes, but the last time we checked, it was 17,000.
Okay, so there's 17,000 points of sale, guys selling tonneau covers. Are they single brand, or are they selling multiple brands, or what? Multiple?
They're stores, so they'll sell. Yeah, they sell everything, and that's obviously they're switching to Worksport.
Okay, so far you have just 600. So meaning you have so much runway. You have 600 so far. You went from zero. You had zero in January, I guess, or 12 months ago, or 12 months ago, or not.
We didn't have any dealers.
I'm sorry, the internet went out. What was that?
At the beginning of the year, we didn't have any dealers. We were just building our dealer market. So this is all this year.
Okay, so January. So this is 9 months ago. 10 months ago, you had zero. Today you have 600 of these guys. These are the guys that are pumping out sales. And you're just, again, you have 600 out of potentially 17,000. So you haven't even touched 1% of the market. You're not even at 1% penetration. And these guys are, but here's the key thing. They're reordering. That means it's an active customer. The repeat customer thing, that's the big deal. That's the big deal. Forget about the number.
Nobody would reorder a product that wasn't fantastic, that they couldn't sell, that they didn't like. So to that extent, we're pretty proud of the fact that reorders are an affirmation that we're doing a great job and we're selling a viable product. So as dealers reorder and reorder frequently, we're finding that as an affirmation to what it is that we're doing, that it's like, hey, this is working. We're gonna keep going down this road. You know, if dealers are often say, okay, I'll try one. So they'll order one for their own truck or for a customer or for a friend, and they'll try it. And if they don't like it, they're the first to be like, it's junk, I'll never call you again. But for 50% of them to be frequently ordering, that's the way of saying, give me more. I want more of this. I need more of it.
Yeah, and I think it's very important. It's still at the early stages. We're still only like half of these. I would think half of your dealers are just brand new, couple of months, right? They're just still in a couple of months, and you're already getting the reorders.
So you got to think of, you said Worksport as a flywheel. I mean, we're an economic flywheel. The business is a flywheel, and these dealers are flywheels too. I mean, it takes time for them to get acclimated to the product, to get used to calling our ordering systems, to get used to calling in, to paying, all these things. But as we get woven into their fabric, these Main Street America businesses, then they become brand ambassadors for you.
Yeah.
And they're at the school events and the swap meets and stuff, talking about how amazing we are. And it just helps spread the story, and these dealers, these Main Street America businesses are specifically what gets us out of bed in the morning. And what we're here to build and what we're here to support is Main Street America businesses, the B2B side of our enterprise.
This is such a powerful story in such an early stage. And, again, we talked about the runway. I want to mention the runway again. The valuation of the stock is only $20 million right now. That's one-time sales right now. It's a very cheap valuation. So this thing can, go again. If you do, this is not like one of these stocks which it's already trading at 500 million, and this is like early stage. So nobody knows about this yet. So what's exciting about it is not only is the stock just starting to be discovered, the business is already taking off, and it's still in the very early stages. But you have this already like major market take up and confirmation and enthusiasm. So it tells us there's a lot of runway for explosive growth. Okay, I want to just I don't want to even talk about the heat pumps, all the other future things, because those things could be major markets. I think the key takeaway for people to understand is Worksport is not a truck cover company, even though that's what your first product. You're basically the innovation company, right? Like, you're starting with this. Now you have other things. We're going to talk about the heat pumps. Those are all multi-billion-dollar things. Just like, again, Tesla. I mean, Tesla, was it a car company? No, I think they started with a car, but then they have AI. Actually, they have the chargers in the house. They have a whole bunch of stuff. They have what is it? I mean, robots they're going to be doing. It's an innovation company. I mean, they had a lot of stuff. So if people look underneath the hood, they're doing diners, those diners, Tesla diners, whatever.
They do everything. So they started with what they said they were going to do, which was Tesla was always a car manufacturer.
Right, yeah, I think if you do one thing right, once you do one thing right, and then you go from there, it's big. And that, back to your dealers, I just want to reemphasize this. These guys, they started with tonneau covers. They're already reordering. That's the perfect market for the core, for the chart. So that all of a sudden you can go,
of course,
you can go bananas.
Yeah, we have an active market and customer base that are supporting the company. So it's easy to integrate new products and find immediate market penetration. Yes.
Steve, I mean, this is amazing. All right. I think we should end here because I don't want to, we can go on for hours. Bottom line is, okay, things are happening. What can we look forward to in the next, the audience, because investors always want to hear, okay, what's next? They're not going to be happy. They're okay, what are you going to do next week? So what do you have coming up, let's say in the next, let's call it 6 to 8 weeks? What kind of news flow can we expect? What kind of catalysts? What events do you have coming up that could have an impact on the stock price potentially?
We're attending the trade show, the biggest automotive trade show in Vegas called the SEMA show in November. So we're attending there. We're obviously going to be meeting with OEMs and distribution. So we're going to be on the business development front there. So there's news in terms of revenues and business contracts. The launch of the Core and the Solus is literally around the corner. So there's news there. We do have obviously heat pump developments that are going to continue happening with our subsidiary Terravis Energy. We have an active Reg A offering that we're going to be looking to close fairly soon too. So we'll have news there. We're obviously always looking at partnerships and opportunities with either like government agencies or businesses or these sorts. So there'll be some news relating to the development of all of our business units and maybe some potential partnerships and stuff like that. No guarantees, but mostly revenues, cash flow for the business, cash flow positive for the business, and then partnerships that are going to be more accretive to the future growth of the business.
Okay. When is that the SEMA show in Vegas? When is that?
SEMA is November. It's open only for business individuals, like people in the business. So people have to get a pass or whatever.
They get a massive audience. There's like 50,000 people show up. It's like all the trucks, the car accessories. There's maybe 100,000. It's a huge show.
I think it's the biggest car show in the world. So we're going to be exhibiting there this year. First time exhibiting in a very long time. Showing off our products. So it's November.
You're gonna have the
I think it's like November 5th and 6th or something like that, and 7th. I don't know for sure. I try to stay away. The company's going. My director of sales and his sales team are going. I try not to go because I don't want to muddle in their business and if a customer comes and tries to get a better deal from me or whatever. So I let sales do sales. But they're attending. It's the SEMA show. So if anyone's attending that's watching, of course, they could see the Worksport product there on display in the truck hall. But yeah, we're just going to be focused on building the business. In the press release, we have the HD3 tonneau cover coming out, and we have a new tonneau cover that just got added to the pipeline that's going to be coming out next year. That's super exciting. So all types of developments in terms of products that'll be accretive to the revenue side of the business, and then partnerships that'll also help there too.
Okay, so basically, you got a bunch of new products. You have more products in the pipeline. In other words, you haven't stopped, right? You have more products coming out.
We have a very robust product pipeline into next year.
Okay, and you have other things beyond trucks, beyond core, you have other what? You have anything else exciting in the works?
Yeah, we have the heat pump from Terravis Energy, the Aetherlux heat pump, and it's the heat pump market globally is massive. It's
we'll talk about that another
time. Yeah, but
it has to be that needs its own platform.
So to summarize it, we have the solar tonneau cover battery. We have 2 normal tonneau covers coming out. One just got added to the pipeline, and the other one's coming out. It's called the HD3. That's coming out in the next few weeks. And then we have our heat pump technologies. That's what's in the pipeline that people know about, and there's more stuff that we're working on behind the scenes as well.
Okay, but bottom line is the core product that's the solar or the battery. I keep calling it the energy product, the core, the generator. What am I calling it?
Battery generator.
Battery generator. Okay, so again, the core battery generator. What's the market potential for it? I mean, you just mentioned this competitor was doing $1 billion in sales from one product, right? So I mean, can you do 100 million? Why not 100 million? If you do 100 million from that, you do 100 million from truck covers, and that's a $4 billion market. You're a better product. So those two things. If you do 200 million a year, 5x multiple is $1 billion potential valuation. Divide that by the share count. It's $150 a share. Which, by the way, I always like to say stocks like to go back to old highs, and the charts. The stock was 150 at one point. I mean, that's the reality. I'm not saying this is not a recommendation. I know it sounds crazy. It's a fact. It's an old trader superstition. Stocks like to go back to old highs. And here we actually a legitimate path how it could happen. It's not. I don't think it's that difficult for you to go to 200 million in sales. You're doing 20 million you went from 0 to 20 million. Why can't you go from 20? The hardest part for any business is to crack 10 million, isn't it? 10 million is like a very hard number for most people.
Yeah. For us, nothing was easy, but it wasn't impossible. I mean, we got past that very quickly. So,
And the thing is this, I think we need to do the next live stream from the factory, because the thing people also need to understand is you're in a position to scale. I think the hardest part of the business was done. What's coming next is going to be, I mean, nothing is easy, but it's going to be relatively easy, because now you've already built that infrastructure. You've built the engine. Now you just got to it's the flywheel is built. It's very hard to build that flywheel, but once it's going, you don't need as much energy to keep cranking it and to get bigger and bigger results. Because the factory that you have, all that stuff, the infrastructure to manufacture this stuff is very, very difficult. And once you have that, again, that's what's the big problem that Tesla had. Getting the infrastructure to manufacture the cars is very, very difficult. But once you have it, you're golden. So this is where you are now. This is like the rewards. You're going to be reaping those rewards, I believe, in the next couple of months.
Yeah, we are. So it's just one step at a time. But I'd love to take people on a tour of the factory here, and then
next live stream.
Yeah, sure.
We got to do that maybe next week. Can we do that next week, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
We'll do that next week. Okay. We'll do a live tour. Get yourself a selfie stick. You walk around while you're doing the live stream, and we'll see everything going on. Steve, thank you again. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you in the next one.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone.